we have Dr. Jesus López Arrieta, which is expert. He is going to speak about acute care, geriatric assessment in acute care hospitals. He has been author of very prestigious systematic revisions. Also, we have another very great expert, Dr. Graham Ellis from Lancashire, Scotland. We have read it always, his Cochrane Library, his revision, and he's going to speak about geriatric assessment, hospitals, community, and also in the future, maybe? Yes, definitely. Thanks. And finally, we have also Miquel Àngel Mas from the Hospital Universitario Germán Trias i Pujol in the area metropolitana north of Instituto Catalán de la Salud, Badalona, in Barcelona. He's going to speak about geriatric assessment in community. All very free experts. I know Miquel Àngel Mas since many years when he was in his training period of geriatrician, and now we have changed the role. He is my teacher and I'm learning from him. Thank you to all experts, and we are going to start because the time is just. And first, Dr. López Arrieta, thank you very much.
Buenos días. Estas son las únicas palabras que voy a decir aquí en español, porque nos ha solicitado hablar en inglés y encantado para hacer una práctica gratis de inglés con mi colega, que supongo que me traducirán o me corregirán aquellos fallos que tenga. Agradecimientos también a la Semeg y mis disculpas por mi inglés. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Baztan, who should be here talking this talk, because he is the main author of what I was in charge to talk about. I think that the main reason to be here is because in those days I was just a Cochrane reviewer, so my experience in doing synthesis of the literature was the main issue that Dr. Baztan told to participate with his team in doing this systematic review. And I want to, first of all, try to talk about, as a clinician, we have talked about theoretical issues, frailty, but now we are talking about clinician. And I want to give you a little story that I watched it in a TED talk, a long time ago, reading a paper about comorbidity and linked to this TED talk. It was it's from a British man. I don't know if you know him, Jonathan Griffiths. You know him, little. And it was a smart man. He talks very good, and he was trying to transmit to the audience about a story of a couple of old people, Carl and Marjorie, old people, that they were born about the First World War. They get married, they raise 4 daughters, they enjoy a good life, they enjoy living in community, going to church, all those British people likes to do, no? If you have been living there, you'll see. They like a lot living outside with their, having very social links with the people. They raise the 4 daughters, the grandchildren, and eventually their great-grandchildren. But poor Marjorie, she developed dementia. But Carl was happy because he loved her, and he cared for him, after she broke her hip, and he eventually died. But Carl still lived alone during some years, and he became increasingly frail until the day he turned 96. And when following some falls, her daughters sent him to the GP. And the GP explored him, and she noted that he had a very low heartbeat. So he made a diagnosis of bradycardia, sent him to the local hospital, and there the cardiologist fitted a pacemaker. But he spent 4 weeks there, and he never recovered. Although he has not new, he has a pacemaker. Huh? So her daughters prompted the doctors to do something about that, because he was still bad. No? So they started to do something, and they did a cerebral scan, and they revealed a traumatic head hemorrhage. And this Jonathan Griffiths, that ends up at the end of his talk, said he is a GP as well. And this is very important, because he was almost shouting to the audience, what could it be happen? Because what's going on? That is in UK, not here in Spain, or UK with so many geriatricians. And he blamed the specialization. He meant that's happened because there are too many specialists. Not too many, but those type of people, as Carl, should have been to, he said, to a generalist. And I was shocked, because I thought he was going to say to a geriatrician. So, and he tried to defend his point of view, saying that the generalists are the good guys there in the healthcare system. You know? And what about the geriatricians? Are we specialists or are we generalists? I don't know. I think we are specialists in caring old people. No? So I will talk back at the end of my talk. No? But this little story question what's happening, and that Dr. Leo has talked about, just about the difference, the transition from in the epidemiology of the diseases. We are not dealing with the same patients. I am a doctor of the 20th century. Half of my work I've done in the 20th century, and now I'm the 21st. Yeah, very close to retirement. But so I've had the opportunity to kind of see this, what it used to be a patient in the 20th century. Maybe not in the 80s when I started, but maybe in the 50s and in the 60s. Was a patient with a single acute illness without cognitive, no functional, no social repercussion in his disease. Now things are changing. This is a slide that shows what's happening. But you can see that, sorry, well, you can see what's happening in Spain and mostly everywhere. No? The population is increasing, not only in the streets, but mainly at hospitals. Well, as older you get, the more opportunity you have to be hospitalized some time in your life. That's not also only for men, I put here men, because women have here, I don't know if here, an increase in hospitalization because of pregnancy and delivery of babies, her babies. And what's happening with this? Those old people, this is data from the Toledo study that Leo has told us just a minutes before. And we can see that if you are disabled, you have more opportunities to be hospitalized. Only less than 10% of people who are capable, who are independent, are hospitalized versus the other who are disabled. So it's very important. And here data from, I think you note these people, where is Watson, Professor Watson, people from America, mainly from Johns Hopkins, from Cleveland, Ohio, and San Francisco. They did a lot of research in this area. Well, showing the same, no? The elder you get, and you get hospitalized, you have over 3 times more probability to be disabled. And what we know, just from a long time ago, that about 1/3 of our elderly population that are hospitalized get disabled at some point, from before admission or in admission till the day of the discharge of the hospital. Also. So I have to finish at 1 o'clock? What time do I have? No, what time? To follow my to 1. 10 minutes, okay. So I will have to go a little bit. Things are going, and this disability after discharge follows, and 1 year later you have the same disability, but you are having more opportunities to get death. This is a very old graph. Maybe you all know it from 1999, of course. It shows what happens when old people get hospitalized, when it's a common like a waterfall or catastrophic event, and worsen people in such a way that many of them die, or they get institutionalized in nursing homes. So this is the main thing to try to reverse, the adverse outcomes when we are talking about old people. We have talked all these days about the functional impairment and what happens when hospitalized people goes there and they have more opportunity to go to a nursing home or to die. And what about cost? Well, I will go a little bit quicker because cost is the same. These are data from Linda Fried. Of course, if you are independent with no chronic disease, your health costs will be more cheaper than if you have 2 of these more conditions, almost 10 times more. This is data from Medicare that shows not the same figures, except that most of the health cost in old people age over 70 comes from the nursing homes attention or care. But depending on what level of attention you are, it's common for this cost to be related to the aging. In the case of inpatient patients, this cost increased, I say, according to Medicare data, about in 89. No? But then it looks like it follows. A good thing, because most of our patients are about 89 more. So what are our challenges? Reduce the functional impairment, try to cut down the hospital length stay. If we can thin out the hospital cost, lessen the institutionalization, and decrease mortality. This is a term that I don't know if you are aware of, is because these are the alternatives of hospitalization. What can we do? Well, we can do anything, so being different. We can change the type of care. We can lower the complexity of the care centers. And what we are doing now, we have filters in the emergency departments to try to not admit all people. No? This is what the Telegraph highlighted about what is happening now in the UK. No? Many people are attacked with the name acopia. That's like a failure to thrive, something like that. They can't cope to do the ADL activities, no? Activities of daily living. And the elderly people admit that thing. No? So, well, you can do that. It will be quite cheaper than do something for them. No? What say the experts about the hospitalization? Do it still make sense? Well, someone says that maybe it reminds us that hospitals were once a last resort for those who could not afford to receive care at home. So we have to try to shift this trend going back to home. It's possible? Well, maybe. Yesterday, Dr. Garcia told us about what's the future of the new IT apps and the new technology to avoid increasing this hospitalization. But we can't, as Dr. Mena has said, we can't avoid death. We can avoid living more than 120 years, maybe. So we can't avoid as well being hospitalized because some proportion of our population will be ill with an acute illness, and I am talking of acute illness. There have been many of care units. I have listened today about the help for delirium, the GEMUS for geriatric evaluation management, that this is a mix of acute and subacute cares, teams for the these all, and what I have to talk today, it's about acute care units. Before doing our systematic review, and I'm going to be quicker because I don't have much time, we knew that we have some type of good recommendation for acute geriatric treatment. And as I said before, Dr. Bastan told me to be part of his team, maybe because I was from 1993, I was at Oxford, and I have the opportunity to see the growth of the Cochrane collaboration with the first Oxford Center, or first Cochrane Center in Oxford. So he wanted to because he did a very good systematic review of the different levels of care in treating patients in geriatrics. So for